We'll call the meeting to order. Would everybody rise for the pledge and a moment of silence, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, everyone, thank you. The meeting is recorded. First item on the agenda is old business, the school resource officer, and do I have a motion on this?
I'd like to make a motion to table it until we have a defined response from the school district in order to...
Second.
Yeah.
And I have discussion.
Sure. Further discussion, please. Ben, would you like
to...
I
spoke yesterday, and their next board meeting, I believe, is a month away. So I'd like to have this nailed down by their next meeting. But it should be relatively simple. I spoke numbers with her, and she didn't have any objection. I just want to make sure. I looked at a spreadsheet that Fiscal sent over, and I just want to make a couple little adjustments to it before nailing down the exact number that we're going to offer the school district. But it should, at this point, pass with no issue at the next meeting. So my hope is to be able to nail down that number probably the first day I get back on Tuesday, and then by the next meeting we shouldn't have any problem approving it.
Okay, I have a question. I did read that the school district has set aside $60,000 for this. Is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so however it shakes out, as long as it's within the $60,000, then this is what we're in agreement with, correct?
Yeah, my understanding is that they're getting a grant of some sort at that amount, and whatever the hourly rate is that we're offering, they will use up to that amount. So that's $25 a day for the car, and then whatever rate. I was thinking of putting a variable rate in there in case that there are instances where they need to use a full-timer instead so that we can bill appropriately.
Okay. All right, thanks. Yeah, so we have a motion with a second to table this. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Table. Motion carried. Moving on to new business, approval of the March 22nd minutes.
Having reviewed the minutes, I would make a motion to approve them as presented.
Second.
Any further discussion, corrections, anything further? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
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 Motion carries. We'll move on to our fiscal report. Judy Olivaw, please.
Cash in the general fund, $1,348,267.97. In the Erie Bank General Fund account, $744,689.10 for a total of $2,092,957.07. Accounts payable went out last week, so coming out of our general fund account this week, we will have payroll for $260,094.79, and our health care bill came in this week at $67,635.36, leaving us a net balance in the cash general fund of $1,020,537.82. And we just recently did another draw against the tax anticipation note of $750,000 to keep our established balance in the general fund. So we're up to $1,500,000 that we've drawn on the TAN so far this year. Debt fund balance $829,662.27 in the checking, $2,976.55 in the savings. Oops, I said that backwards. $829 is in the savings, $2,976.55 in the checking. Those are both lower purely because we just did that last payoff of the call.
Good. I'm sorry, I'm a little out of it. We make a motion to approve this generally, don't we? We'll make
Yes,
a motion
we
to
do.
approve the fiscal report.
Do I have a second?
I'm feeling well today.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please state aye.
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 Motion carries. Thank you, Judy.
Oh,
Did you want to?
yes, I had one other recommendation from Fiscal. At a prior commissioners meeting, we approved signing the maximum contract for consulting, and it's a recommendation to amend the budget to move $7,500 out of the contingency fund and into professional services, and I believe we discussed it. We said we were putting it under the fiscal portion of the budget.
I'll make that motion.
I would second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please state aye.
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 Thank you, Jean. All right, we'll move on. Next item on new business is proclamation for the YMCA's 150th anniversary. The Warren County YMCA was established in 1867, and for 150 years, the Warren County YMCA has provided opportunities to all individuals, youth, adults, and families in the community by putting Christian values and principles into practice through facilities, programs, and activities that build healthy spirits, mind, and body. Programs are made available to all persons regardless of their ability to pay. And the Warren County YMCA is made up of people of all ages and from every walk of life, working side by side to strengthen our communities. Together, we work to ensure everyone, regardless of gender, income, faith, sexual orientation, or cultural background, has the opportunity to live life to its fullest. We share the values of caring, honesty, respect, and responsibility. Everything we do stems from it. And the Y stands for Youth, Development, Healthy Living, and Social Responsibility. Be it resolved that the Commissioners of the County of Warren, Pennsylvania, invite the residents of Warren County to participate in the Y Expo on April 19, 2017, to help celebrate their 150th anniversary. Do I have a motion to adopt this proclamation?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any further discussion?
I would just add that the Y is a wonderful resource for the community, and they do so much for the community when it comes to the various projects that they do related to like the Live Strong group, and then especially with the children's groups. I know my kids benefit a lot from all the different classes and different things that they do, and so I think it's really, I'm looking forward to the event, and I really think it's a great organization. That's all I have.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please state aye.
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 Motion carries. Award Cdbg Mill Street Reconstruction Project in Eldridge Township. And we have Lori here with us from Planning and Zoning. Yes, Planning and Zoning, who does our applications and all our work on our Cdbg. Lori, could you explain
This project is going to be awarded to Russell Standard out of Union City for $70,048.15. It's a project that Eldridge Township is going to put about as much work into it as we are hiring the Cdbg dollars. They're going to widen the roadway. It has a steep grade as it reaches 27. A little dangerous in the winter, so the township's going to come in with equipment and regrade the road, and then use the Cdbg dollars to resurface the road. Good project that will happen this summer.
Great. Thank you, Ellen. Do I have a motion to approve this?
I'll make a motion to approve the award to Russell Standard for the Mill Street project.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please state aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. And we move on to the second award of Cdbg funds, Erie and Pleasant Street Reconstruction Project in Clarendon.
This one will be awarded to IA Construction out of Franklin for $65,928.30. Another good project. These streets haven't seen any work on them for probably over 30 years. So they're well due for it. A little bit of sidewalk work will be done too. And help Clarendon Borough out with their roads.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve or to award the contract to Construction for the amount offered.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion?
Just a couple things. So, Lori, on these two, this one's 65.9, the other one's 70. How much of that is paid for by Cdbg?
That's all CDBG.
That's all Cdbg.
You saying how much the project is being paid for?
Well, I'm just saying this number. Are these the Cdbg funds that are being allocated to the
Yes. project?
So the total is 66,000 in one case, and the other is 70, for a total of 136.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, roughly speaking. I just wanted to draw. No, I just wanted to make a point that Cdbg funds have been zeroed out in the President's current budget that he's proposed to Congress. This is a perfect example of $160,000 that will not be allocated to roads and projects that are in desperate need in Warren County. And I just wanted to draw light to that these kinds of cuts do have consequences, and so there are roads and bridges within Warren County in very hard hit areas that need the money. So I just wanted to draw light on that.
I'm lost in the process. Do we have a motion?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. All in favor, please state aye.
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 Motion carries. Thank you. Agreement with MCM Consulting. Would you like to take
This contract is to do a commodity flow study. We applied for and we received a grant, actually have a grant agreement with me today for the funding through the state and the federal government. This is, just shows what commodities, hazardous materials commodities, well, I can say that word, commodities that flow through Warren County, whether it be by rail, ground, rail, or pipeline, that kind of stuff. They fund this usually every few years for each county to be able to do a commodity flow study, and that helps us with our hazard mitigation planning, and so we know that we can be prepared for the articles that are being processed and traveled through Warren County.
And it says here the total price of the project is $8,000.
Yes.
And I understand that that's coming from your funds.
That is, yes, that's like I said, no, that's a grant. It's already, it's all approved. Other than just you guys have to sign the grant agreement for that too, but it was all already approved. And it's actually a $10,000 project, but we do some in-kind services, through the LEPC or other entities that will cover the other $2,000, but the grant itself is for $8,000, and that's what the fee is.
Okay. Thank you, Todd. Do I have a motion to approve the agreement with MCM Consulting?
So moved.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
I just want to ask some clarification on the financial end. Does the grant come into hazmat? Does it come
Yes.
into the general fund?
Yeah, definitely hazmat.
Is it an after-the-fact reimbursement grant, or does the grant come first and then we spend it?
I think this
Spend
one's,
down?
I think one or the other. The HMEP and the HMRF, the two different grants. One is we spend first and then get it back, and I think this one I think once we sign this grant agreement, it comes and we have.
Okay, so this is all passing
Yeah,
in and out.
and there's
Okay.
yes, and there's money in there to cover it, so it's not like
Good. Okay.
nothing from general fund.
Okay. Thank you. We have a motion. All in favor, please state aye.
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 Motion carries. Thank you, Todd.
Mm-hmm.
Approval for the application to P Corp for liability insurance. And our fiscal director, Judy.
Yes, as we discussed at work session, this is just our annual renewal for the liability insurance that covers property, any other type of liability we have, automobile insurance, and the director-officer elected official liability. We've gone with P comp through CCAP for many years, and basically renewal of what we've had for years and years.
All right, great. Do I have a motion to approve this?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please state aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Lease agreement with Stilson Hill Road Tower. Again, Todd, would you like to?
Yeah, this is just a lease where we have a tower out on Stilson Hill near Sheldon Road. The landowner, there was a 99-year lease in the past, but the landowners have since passed, and it's been passed on to Mrs. Debbie Brewster and Mrs. Barb Roberts, sisters of the previous owner, or daughters of the previous owner, excuse me. They're sisters, and this is just an agreement with them to keep the tower there. We pay about the property tax. It's $100 a year, so it's not it's a very good working partnership. They're very public service oriented folks, and so it just, the only thing in the agreement is if we would reassess, the county would reassess down the road, and the property would be above $100 a year, we would pay whatever it is.
Okay, I did use that in there.
Yeah.
So the property tax.
I think the property taxes now are like $93 a year for the property that we're using, so it's. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
This is, and it's a budgeted item. It's already.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the lease agreement?
I'll make a motion to approve the lease agreement with Deborah Brewster and Barbara Roberts.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
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 Motion carries. Next item is the Resolution 3082 with the Transit Authority of Warren County for our local match 2017-18 fiscal year. This is for the fixed route. Many of the municipalities in our area contribute to this, as well as the county, for the Transit Authority to be able to operate their fixed route within the county. Warren County has been asked to contribute as the local match $31,736. The City of Warren contributes $7,500. Youngsville contributes $750. Sheffield $1,000. Pleasant Township $500. Conowingo Township $2,500, and Glade Township $300 this year. I proposed to Wendy, who is now the director of the Transit Authority, that she would maybe send a letter out to the municipalities that there's fixed route services, in hopes that maybe we could see a larger portion coming from their township to support the fixed route program. Many of the citizens living in those municipalities do take advantage of the fixed route, and I think it's a definite benefit to those municipalities, of course, the county in general. And so maybe we can see a larger portion coming from the municipalities, hopefully in the future, which would make the county match, a little easier for us to make. Do I have a motion to adopt this resolution?
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 3082.
Second. And Commissioner, I want to thank you for doing that, because it kind of bothers me that not the entire county has access to the access to the fixed route, and yet the entire county is footing the bill for it. So I appreciate that you're trying to get the municipalities that use it to contribute more.
Thank you.
I just wanted to add that although the discussion is revolving around the fixed route, this matching fund pulls in a great deal of funding from PennDOT. And that funding is not just used for the fixed route. It subsidizes the shared ride which is a very important program. And probably people are a bit more familiar with that in some ways, depending upon what constituency you're talking about. A lot of the institutions in the area use the shared ride program in order to get seniors to go to different programs, get different services. And it's important to note that if this funding were cut for the fixed route, it would affect the shared ride as well. And so, part of the reason to try to pull down that additional state funding is in order to keep those other services going as well. It's not just about the fixed route, because I know sometimes people really like to focus on the fixed route, understandably in some cases, but it subsidizes everything that the transit authority does.
Right, and if I could elaborate on Commissioner Eggleston's words, the fixed route, if we do not make this county match, the fixed route would end up ceasing to exist, and therefore then the shared ride would also cease to exist. The shared ride program is very important to our community, where we pick up elderly individuals and take them down to different appointments that they may have at the hospital, Pine Grove area, the elderly daycare. There's a lot of services that are provided in our community that these individuals need to have transportation to take part in. So what we ask now on the shared ride, or what the transit authority is asking, is for a quarter every time they take that ride. And this is going to be increasing unless we can do something in regard to trying to get more resources toward this program. So it's going to be a greater hardship on our elderly to be able to pay and afford for those rides. I know a quarter doesn't sound like much to us, but to many individuals in our community, that's a great deal. And even if you increase it up to $1, you're going to see some maybe not be able to take that ride that day.
To be clear, I see the value in this program, and that's why I'm in favor of it. I don't want anything that I said to be construed as suggesting that I don't think that it's valuable and helpful to the community. I do.
Right.
And, I am very supportive. I just appreciate trying to make the contributions more equitable.
Yeah, thank you. And that's the way I understood you to say that then. So.
Right.
The other thing I wanted to add was this is another important example of how decisions at the state and federal level affect us locally. So the match at the county level has increased in the past year, 2016 and 2017, and in large part due to previously the Erie Agency on Aging contributed to this. Due to the move towards managed care and the kind of removal of their resources and their support at the state level, they cannot make that contribution. They're struggling to continue to provide the services that they provide because of the move to managed care. So their revenue is going down, the revenue from the state's going down, so this is hitting them pretty hard in my opinion. And so as a result, their ability to contribute, for instance, to this program is completely evaporated, understandably in my opinion. And so as a result, the county has to pick up take their contribution and expand ours in order to make sure that this program is very needed and real resource stays afloat. I recommend everybody look into, especially if you're on the verge of retirement or you're going to get services from the various senior services that we have within the community, to look into the move towards managed care in the state, because if you like the Erie Agency on Aging, it's having what is in my opinion an incredibly negative effect on their ability to provide services. As an example, one of the things they've done is this whole coordinated care bit, where the state does a contract with Maximus, and then everybody calls Maximus in order to have their services delegated. Okay, this is a third-party company that's for-profit, at least as far as I know, And so they drop calls. Their call time and response is not very good in my opinion. And also it's up to them to delegate where the services go. As a result, Area Agency on Aging, an organization that is, has local employees, provides local resources, coordinates people to local services, the number of calls that they're getting has dropped. Their ability to coordinate people has dropped, and this affects them overall. And I just think that everybody needs to be aware of that. There's going to be a huge shift in senior services within the county as a result of this decision that's coming, and the full weight of it's going to be realized in 2019, right around the corner. So some of the services that you have now will not exist at that point. Other services may take its place. Nobody can say for certain one way or the other, but it's of major concern, in my opinion, to the local community. And I think it's something that everybody needs to be aware of, or at least keep their ears open when they hear stuff about it, because it's going to change the way seniors receive services within the county. And this is just one of those like tertiary effects of it. Is they can't fund the things that they want to. The senior centers, they have a very difficult time funding all those senior centers. Everybody likes the senior centers. They're cutting back their services as well. And this is just another effect of that.
All right. So in front of us today we have a resolution. Transit Authority local match. And I'm sorry, do I have a motion?
You have a motion and a second.
And any further discussion? Ben, do you have anything to add?
No, I don't think I could possibly add to Jeff.
I took a shot at you at the last meeting, so you owe me.
Thank you,
Right.
Ben.
We all thank you.
Again, I have a question.
Oh, sure.
On the share ride, for the municipalities that do give towards it,
That's the fixed route.
fixed route, how do we convince other townships to donate for this when they don't have the fixed route in their area?
Our goal is to contact those municipalities that are serviced by the fixed route, and that is who's
And
contributing.
you realize that the money wouldn't be allocated after the organizational meeting in January. Those amounts are discussed at reorganizational meetings in townships.
Right. We do understand that.
How
We're hoping.
does it affect on where you pick up people to go to the doctors?
That's the shared ride.
Now, do they also go into the townships that are not donated?
Yes, but there's a different mechanism, I guess, in place in regard to the shared ride, and they do ask that you contribute to that, and Medicaid and Medicare dollars go toward that.
Thank you.
And I think it's going to be important for the talk and for people that are interested in this program to come up with some kind of public relations strategy on it in order to convey to people the level of service that they're receiving and where the funds are coming from, because I think there's a lot of confusion as to what everybody's paying for and what they're getting as a result of it. There's a lot of stuff that maybe they don't see on a daily basis that is being funded but through this. So.
Their fiscal year at Transit Authority is run from June to July every year. It's the state. So in regard to your saying that your funds would be voted on at your January organizational meeting, we understand that. And, we had that same situation here at the county because, our fiscal year runs by the calendar. So, all right. All in favor, please state aye.
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 Motion carries. Resolution 3083, DCED, Early Intervention Program.
Ben, do you want to take that or do you want me to take it?
Actually, that didn't end up in my scanned packet. Obviously, I'm quite familiar with it, but if you would take the lead, I'd appreciate it.
So just so you know, the only difference between what we reviewed previously and this is that the last line in the resolution has changed to state a 25% match by the county for the program.
Okay.
So basically, the DCD through their the Office of Local Government Services. Can't remember something like that. Yeah. Basically offers an early intervention program, which previously, in years past, has been utilized by organizations like governments, local governments that were in difficult financial straits, whatever it might be. Stress, exactly. What's happened over time is that this program's expanded so that people can, apply to have regular reviews of their financial information, make recommendations, take a look at what they're doing and then try to give them recommendations on how to better manage their finances, maybe make different investments in order to increase their returns. So, and it isn't just that, it's also, it also has to do with process engineering, so looking at how you do things, how you provide services, deliver services. There's an aspect of that too, but this really, at least initially, focuses on the financial end. So DCED is basically, in my opinion, they're trying to get as many municipalities involved in this program to some degree because I think that there's some fear of the funding being cut at the state level, so they've been going around, really advertising and promoting this. This is something that we considered last year, but there was too much going on. This year, I think is a very good time to do this. So basically, what we do is we get this resolution done, and then there's an application that's being put together in the Planning and Zoning Department that will then go to DCED. They'll review it and supposedly approve it. If they approve it, at the same time we would get put out an RFP for a consulting firm that would basically come in and do a thorough examination of all of the various things that we want them to look at within the county in order to provide recommendations. Right now, our estimation, it's hard to say what this is going to cost one way or the other in total. The DCED at this point has basically guaranteed us, to some degree, a 75% match on whatever funds we would set forth. My estimation of it, in my personal opinion, based on the conversations we've had, is that, like on an annualized basis, at least the first year, it would be probably around $80,000. So we would end up spending $20,000 in order to get the service done. It may be more or less than that. It's hard to say until we get the RFP done. If the RFP seems outrageous and it doesn't seem like something we want to do, then we can just walk away from it at any time. I will say that Jefferson County did this about 12 years ago when they were in bad financials, so they were financially stressed to some degree. There'd been a lot of mismanagement in the county. They've kept their consultant beyond the period of the grant and their work with DCED and continue to utilize them today. They're in really fantastic financial shape. They do not utilize a TAN on an annual basis the way we do. And they've been able to make a lot of really good investments in their county as a result of being in a better financial place. It's not to say that Warren County is in a bad financial place. It's that this would give us the opportunity to maybe really tighten everything up and realize savings that are beyond what we would pay in order to have the consultant come in. I firmly believe that we could find $20,000 of savings through working with a consultant in a single year in order to tighten up our financial situation here. So that's kind of the calculation on the whole program. We're moving very quickly. Do you want to add something?
Go ahead.
We want to move really quickly because basically DCED is pushing us to get into the funding stream this year, which ends in June. So this is why we're kind of this is an opportunity that's presented itself to us. I think that in light of the news that we got this morning, for instance, on our ARC payment coming in much less than we had anticipated, there is some funding available that we could allocate to something along these lines in order to realize savings within the county. So even aside from our contingency funds and other things, I think that there's an opportunity here. So that's my 2 cents.
Commissioner Kaplan, do you have anything to add?
I just wanted to stress that this is not indicating that we are in a stressed state. This is risk mitigation. to get us from good to great in a fiscal sense. It is also important to stress that this can be amended, and as Commissioner Eggleston said, it's not obligated. We can walk away if we get the quotes back and it doesn't look reasonable. And by the way, big thanks to the whole team that pitched in, Lori, Dan, Pam, and others in order to get this thing up and going in, less than a week. So, well done, everybody.
All right. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
I made it.
Oh,
You did.
Yeah. And I think Ben
Ben, did you
seconded
second
it.
that?
Or did I do
I don't know,
No,
but
you
I
just
definitely would
did
second it.
discussion.
You just started.
Oh, did I just start talking?
Yeah. I didn't think
Shocking.
that was a motion.
Okay,
What if
so
I knew?
I will make a motion to approve Resolution 3083.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please state aye.
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 Motion carries. Agreement with E&M Engineers.
We'll talk some more.
Go ahead, Jeff. You want to make your motion?
You're on a roll.
I will make a motion to approve the E&M Engineers and Surveyors agreement for a year starting basically on the 12th.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? I couldn't hear you.
I make a motion to approve the E&M Engineers and Surveyors agreement to take place for a year starting April 12th.
Oh, I second that.
Yep.
Okay. I would just like to say before I turn it over to Commissioner Eggleston that I spoke with Chris Ernst this morning and had a conversation with him in regard to this contract, and he put to rest some of my concerns, and I just wanted to share those with you. I was concerned with the fact that we may employ them and then have them subcontract. And what I learned from him was that this will be a team approach, and we will have full ability to approve or not approve projects as they're presented to us. And that really gave me the confidence to go forward with this. So I just would then turn it over to Commissioner Eggleston for explanation.
Yeah, so this agreement is a very loose agreement that basically states their rates for their work, R.W. Larson's work, and then Karpinski Engineering. E&M Engineers does the bulk of the engineering work. Karpinski is a specialist in heating, energy efficiency, those types of things. And then R.W. Larson is their architectural resource, and then they all work together. This does not lock in a price on any particular project. It just basically says that we agree to work with them and over the next year on all county projects. And I made the decision to be supportive of this agreement, or I should say this organization and this agreement, after thoroughly reviewing the 3 bids that we got, which were all very good bids. Theirs was the most thorough after going through their references and then also reviewing the types of jobs that they've worked on. I think that they fit us and what we're trying to accomplish the best. They've done, for instance, they've worked on the municipal building, doing the renovations to the city municipal building, which is very similar as far as the renovations go to some of what we'd like to do with the courthouse. They have extensive heat and energy efficiency experience. They're also currently working on a recycling center in McKean County, doing the work on that, and then the several municipalities that I called that work with them had nothing but glowing reviews, so that they're very responsive, and that and they've worked with a couple of municipalities, one over 15 years at least, another over 30 years. So I felt like they were the most complete group out of the bunch, and they were all very great proposals. So
I'd just like to add that was somewhat of my concern, was that E&M is typically a civil engineering firm and surveyors, and so, when you contact municipalities and ask, their opinion of this firm, of course, they have a lot of roads and bridges, which we have none of, Warren County. So that was some of my concern, knowing that we really, truly needed an architect and maybe a mechanical engineering firm, but learning from E&M that they already are working in collaboration with R.W. Larson and Kapinski did ease my fears there. So just wanted to add that.
Joe, you're shaking your head.
You chose them. You deal with them.
I've worked with them for about 20 years, and I'd like to say they make my job easier. They're very thorough, so you can really easy to work with.
Just as an example, the one I called McKean County's planning and zoning officer, and he said that he wished that the commissioners would make an exclusive agreement with them in order to not have to constantly bid all the projects out, that they would just like to work with them regularly. So it was stuff like that, I think, that put over the edge. Although I certainly take Joe's concerns very seriously.
Well, everyone has a different experience.
We have as an engineering firm. We were disappointed.
Okay. Well, hopefully we'll have a better experience.
This first road in the county is kind of overlooking a whole lot of the projects that we have on this kind of task list or wish list, and helping the commissioners, if you will, prioritize them both by urgency and by cost, affordability, and whatever else. I didn't know if everybody had that understanding. Jen had talked about a couple other things, and that we just have a lot of things here that really need tended to. And I just think it's great to have some wise counsel brought in with experience to look at all those and help us make decisions that.
Thank you, Judy.
The two things that they'll be focusing on initially will be the boiler, actually three, two of them combined. One will be the boiler, the second will be basically the energy efficiency set up within the courthouse and the jail, and then third, which is actually moved to number one, is the air conditioning, heating situation in the jail, and they'll address that, which is a problem. Those will be the first two major projects that they'll be working on.
Do you have anything to add, Commissioner Capellan?
No.
All right. All in favor of the agreement with E&M Engineers, please state aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. We have citizens here. Mr. Scully, do you have anything to add?
No.
Staff?
I just had a question on the 3rd Street building, if there was a completion date on that yet?
Ben?
Oh, Linda. Linda.
When it's done.
No, that's a good thing to discuss, because they're moving as quickly as they can on it. I don't think that the end of April is going to be realistic, but I think that the beginning of, like May, I think is reasonable. It's just, honestly, the biggest holdup has been just getting all of the paperwork lined up for permitting and everything. The actual work on the job should be relatively quick.
Ben, we did have an anticipated start date for the roof of April 10th. Do you know anything further as to why that didn't take place?
I believe it had to do with a city permit.
Okay.
That was, at least that's what Matt told me.
I appreciate the update. That's what
Yeah. It won't be that much longer.
Well, we hope so.
And I can't hear really hardly anything that's going on, but I assume that's Linda Kreitzer.
Yes.
Who else?
Is there any other Linda, really? So, Linda, I can chat with you offline about it, but I don't think we're going to miss our deadline by very much. And furthermore, I don't believe there'll be any reason that domestic relations can't move back in around the anticipated date. Yep.
Because any mold or anything like that will have been remediated by that point.
Okay. Thanks for the update. That's pretty much what we wanted.
Okay. Todd? Ed? Lori?
I would like to commend you for hiring engineering services. I think that will help spend the county's money more wisely, some professional expertise on items that it's needed on.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that. And we're hopeful that the DCED Early Intervention Program will help.
That sounds like a good program.
Okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All right, meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
You should help you adjust on it. There's like a couple pages. Also, need to share it.
You're going to take first grant.
Yeah.